All right, guys, we are now live. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is show number 234. I'm Invader, and hey, you know what? I hope all of you tuning in had a wonderful weekend, whether that be spending time with family, friends, or just getting into a new game, or whatever it may be. I mean, it was a nice weekend where I am, and I hope you guys had a blast. Anyways, we got plenty of things to cover tonight since the gaming industry just never sleeps, never a dull moment. And recently, Ubisoft did a re-reveal for their pirate game Skull and Bones. We'll give you our thoughts on this long-awaited title. Also, PlayStation has unveiled their brand new Stars reward program. We'll touch on that, plus lots of chatter regarding surrounding this Microsoft and Netflix deal. Could it lead to possibly more things down the road? We will dive into that and more. But before we get to those things, let's introduce everybody on this crazy panel ensemble. Starting off with General MLD. What's up, brother?
Hey, yeah, doing pretty good. Just hacking away at the old backlog. Right now, I'm on some kind of Borderlands fix. Played the pre-sequel, finished that. Now I'm on Borderlands 2, and then I'll just graduate onto Borderlands 3. Then I'll see if Tiny Tina is worth taking the plunge. Has anyone played that? Is it worth it?
I really liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was quite good. I got it when it hit Steam. A bunch of my friends got it who are PC players, and so I decided I'd get it with them on Xbox because it's crossplay.
Well,
and I had a great time.
Nice, good to know. Well, so yeah, that's me, and looking forward to chatting with everybody here.
Indeed, MLD. Moving on down here, Tim Dog, buddy, great to see you as always, my friend. How's your week been?
Been very good. I've been very busy with a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. Good stuff, but overall, just planning on that, and just played some more Quarry and playing video games. Looks like the the news will start coming, I think, soon. I know it's been a little down, but this is it's part of the year, and there's not much going on, but we'll make it work. And I do think though that some news is coming soon. As far as just breaks, maybe the Activision deal. There was an article on that. That was really good. But overall, just happy to be here and shoot it up.
Indeed. And by the way, Tim, like I've been interested in the Quarry. There's a bit of a sale going on still on Amazon. Is it a game like? Do you recommend picking that game up?
100%. If you have to be if you're a laid back type gamer, it's perfect for you. There's a lot of QTE clickbait, not click stuff. But the story itself is about a 10. And you can replay it over and over. If you can get it on sale, I'd highly recommend it. I mean, it's one of my favorite games in a while. I think the genre itself is going to grow to be even bigger.
Not to interrupt, but Xbox just launched its Ultimate Game Sale going till July 31st, and the Quarry is part of the sale.
All right. Yeah, I see. The reason why I'm looking at Amazon is just I like to have. I try to go more physical. Like I'm still one of those guys, but no, I mean it's still that Xbox Ultimate sale is very tempting though. You know what? It's lots of good sales there. Yeah, including the Quarry. So,
do you have Targets in Canada?
They didn't last too long here, actually.
It's also on sale at Target right now, which is funny.
All right, good to know. Yeah, it's probably on sale at Walmart or something. But it's been on my radar for a while, so that's why I ask. But everybody seems to really like it, so it gives me Friday the 13th vibes. So I definitely want to check it out. Camp Crystal Lakey, that kind of thing. Moving on down here, Crusader buddy, how's your weekend been?
It's been pretty good. I've been playing some of the old Assassin's Creed games. I actually started Unity a while back, and then they updated the original Assassin's Creed with a FPS boost back last November. And so I jumped over to that, and then other things came out, and I ended up finishing the original Assassin's Creed and Unity this week, which was really great. Otherwise, yeah, doing pretty good.
All right. Hey, that's great to hear. Happy to hear all that, and yeah, some pretty cool games you listed there. Moving on down here, Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, how's your week been?
Just been setting up or trying to set back up since I got my room kind of like set up with like all my systems like on shelves and not just like on the floor since we moved in. Set back up my Wii U, got that running, has all those old classics on there, so you can play actually Wii games on the Wii U tablet, which is cool instead of using the Wii remote. But yeah, not much. Had a bit of a scare with a screen cleaner on my new OLED. I think I had that. I think it was no, I got it right here. I can't even pronounce the name. I forget but it was a great cleaner. I had like years before. It's like all plant based, but I think it got old. And when you look in the bottle, it's kind of like all these little, almost looks like little food particles. So it left like these streaks on my LG OLED, and I was like, oh shit, what did I do? Because I thought it was like taking away like the anti-glare protection. That's what it looked like at first. But then I just found out you could just use distilled water and microfiber, and that took the streaks away. Thank God. I was like, oh shit, I think I just ruined my OLED screen. But other than that scare, yeah, not much.
All right, good. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. It was just a scare and nothing more, right? Because that's the last thing you need, right? Is like a big scratch or whatever it may be, right? So.
Yeah. Yep. Not on the brand new OLED. Yeah, that's not good.
No, definitely. That's yeah. It's every gamer's worst nightmare. Either there or a console not working. So I hear you, man. I hear you. And who else do we have here? Centurion. Hey, how's things going on there in Arizona? Been playing much?
Oh yeah, well you got no choice but to hide indoors right now, when the average temperature is at least 111 on the almost every single day, if not hotter. But no, I finally grinded out the last of the DLCs for ESO, other than the final one that just came out with High Tides. So I'm getting ready to start that DLC and looking forward to that. Also been kind of dabbling some other stuff. Checked out Dead by Daylight, just to see what all the hype was about. Decided that game wasn't for me, and now I'm also long time ago I got in Games with Gold, Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter.
Oh yeah.
And I figured I'd check out these Sherlock Holmes games because they seem to be popping up regularly, just to kind of play something just different, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're
I know
okay.
it sounds exciting in my world. They're okay.
No, I mean, I played a little bit of some of the Sherlock Holmes games, and I mean, they are interesting. It's just a matter of like, depending on the developer, right? Some of them can be a little I don't want to say subpar, but I wouldn't say AAA, if you know what I mean. But they're still nice.
I know these ones are all done by the same developer, and they've had a little bit of different takes. Like the 3 games they've done, none of them are like, they've even used different character models between games, so sometimes the characters don't even look the same. But there is definitely no hand holding in this game. Like, you have to look around, you have to be meticulous, and like when somebody gives you the address of a location, you don't get no map marker that's like, oh, walk down this street, make a left, go through that doorway, up the flight of stairs, and he'll be in room blah blah blah. They give you the address, and you have to go find that street, the building number, the room number. The game definitely does not hold your hand. It definitely is hey, you need to figure this out kind of style of game.
All right, good to know. I mean, I didn't realize that. That's interesting. Different character models.
And also, like, you have to judge, like, you have to pretty much profile a character, even though you're not supposed to profile people in real life, but they want you to profile people, and if you get the profile wrong, it changes the conversation with the person. Like, you'll accuse them of things that actually aren't true. And like, also there's instances where if you make a mistake, you don't get oh, do you want to try that again? You just got to live with that mistake and keep playing.
Interesting. All right. All right, maybe I should get into those games a little more. It sounds a little more interesting what you're saying. But yeah, guys, to everybody tuning in, it is great to see you all here. We're always happy to have you. And hey, if you guys could share this out across social media, let everybody know that we are live now. Like everybody in the chat, please share this out, this link. As well, please like this video. And hey, you know what? Leave a comment after the show and sub to the channel. We would love to see you here more often. All right, guys. Why don't we let's begin with a big game update. And last week, Ubisoft did a re-reveal for its long-awaited pirate game Skull and Bones. There's been a lot of, I want to say, mixed reactions to it, especially with the lack of, well, one thing is lack of close quarters combat that I've been hearing a lot of, but again, I'm curious what everyone else here thinks of this re-reveal for the game. However, I'll kick things off with Centurion. Bud, what are your impressions of Skull and Bones?
Pretty much, you took the word right out of my mouth. I am just as mixed as everybody else. I mean, I enjoyed the mechanics that Black Flag, in basically this game is being kind of a spin-off of the naval mechanics of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And I mean, it's great. It is definitely that game mechanic, but at the same time, when you start reading into, the game has gone in and out of delays and a very long development time. I think there's rumors that this game has been worked on since 2015. And it just, Ubisoft has come out and said that all the game delays were because that they're wanting to make the big game bigger and grander, but it seems like they have just stuck with the same premise of basically a pirate naval simulator. And everybody is a little up in arms over the fact that they're saying that there's more to life of being a pirate than just being on a boat and captaining a boat. They're starting to even say this game is starting to resemble more now of Sea of Thieves, when it comes to the concept of you just go out and, well, you're not even able to go on land, which is interesting. All you do is you use your boat to go out. You can pillage other forts, other settlements. There's also mechanics to go out and fish. Ubisoft talked about how one of their first in-game events is going to be tackling the issue in the world with the shark fin trade, and they're wanting to basically somehow interject issues that are going on today into this game. That's going to be interesting. But there is definitely a lot more to do than just going around pillaging stuff. But that being said, this game is going to be an open world game on the ocean, but it is also going to be a live service game. There's going to be about 20 people per server, so there is going to be other, pretty much other real world people going around in this game, and that's where you have a choice to either make alliances with the people in this server, and you guys can go pillage together, or you got to worry about what takes place in Sea of Thieves. You have those guys that basically are the actual real sharks of the game, and they love to hide and they wait for you to do all the heavy lifting, and then they come in and try to pick you off and steal all your plunder. There is definitely a lot of mechanics in this game. You just like in Sea of Thieves, we've seen people for years now playing the game, and they will pack as much treasure as they physically can on that boat. Well, the Ubisoft decided to create a weight mechanic. You can overload your boat and make it to where the boat barely moves and you can't outrun the people chasing you. So there is times they even say where you'll get in a situation where you'll start throwing treasure or your plunder overboard because you would rather get away than basically get your ship destroyed. There is mechanics in it to where you're going to armor the boat. You have different armaments on the boat. There is a lot of customization, but there is no single player campaign. The game director has come out and said that it's a play the game as you want kind of thing. As you do contracts, you're going to have bits and pieces of a kind of story fleshed out to you, and the story is mainly around the factions that exist in this world and you trying to appease them, and the overall end goal is to become a pirate kingpin, which opens up a much harder and much more harder to maintain system of the game, because you also have to worry about crew morale. You have to feed them. Like, it's definitely going to be an interesting game, but for me, I don't know if I'm going to buy this day one. They are asking like $70 for it base. I think there's even going to be like a premium edition that's probably going to more than likely go down the road of what Ubisoft likes to do with like $120 game.
Mhm.
I just don't know how this thing is going to really hold up, especially to titles like Sea of Thieves. Like, when there was one scene that they keep showing in the trailers where you see the cargo on the outside of the boat dip into the ocean, and the ocean reacts like in no way. You don't get no waves. It just like goes in the water, comes right out. And we know Sea of Thieves actually has some of the best water effects in gaming, in my opinion.
Mhm.
On Sea of Thieves, you're able to do a lot more. You're able to treasure hunt. I'm just really curious on. They want this game to last for years, but I really do not think that this game has enough to keep people interested for that long. I'm pretty much leaning towards I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft used that partnership um with PlayStation and Microsoft. We know they're on both sides of the fence. I'm really wondering if they're going to put this game in like PlayStation Plus and Game Pass just to bring up player numbers, because I'm going to be really curious on where pre-orders are going to be sitting at when this game is getting close to release.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do find it interesting that because this game was originally heavily inspired by Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this game originally was supposed to be like a multiplayer element for it, but then it got
Mm-hmm.
pushed back and turned into its own thing. And I played Assassin's Creed 4. Black Flag, I think I got it actually in Games with Gold now that I think about it. And I played it all the way through. I thought it was actually I really enjoyed the ship
I
mechanics in
enjoyed
that.
it myself, and that's why a lot of people are up in arms over it. Is Assassin's Creed Black Flag had all the game mechanics in Skull of Bones, plus the ability to leave the boat, plus the ability to go and look for treasure and explore, plus the ability to interact with other characters. It seems more like when you go to these hub worlds in Skull and Bones, most of the NPCs are not very interactive, other than the merchants and the people that give you contracts. They're basically very confused on why did Ubisoft, after this much long, this heavy of a development time, create a game that actually has less than its predecessor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of weird because you'd think that they would leverage stuff from again like Black Flag, for example, even being able to board ships, and that's just an animation if I'm not mistaken, like a little
They said,
cutscene.
yeah, actually, from a lot of the gameplay I've watched, there is a lot of pretty much work and development gameplay out there right now. Some of it's only 10 days old. But everybody keeps commenting on the crafting is push a button cinematic. Uh, the boarding a boat, push a button cinematic. It seems more like very. They've said it doesn't feel as realistic as Black Flag does appeared.
Mm. Yeah, I just there's a lot of I don't want to say weird things. I just sense general disappointment with it. I would rather not that be the case. It's just from what it was originally concepted to be to now, it's just not really exciting people, and I don't know if it's gonna really hold up very well in that early November time frame, right?
I
Especially
know,
with God of War and whatnot.
right? Because I already made the joke, no pun intended, that the ship may have already sailed for this game, and all the hype and the basically the hype and excitement that was for this game is gone now because of titles like Sea of Thieves and other titles that are going, like, I mean, if you look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey alone, or maybe even Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they have some of these mechanics in the game, but you're not rooted into just sticking with this mechanic in this just repetitious game loop. And that's where I really feel bad. Like, it almost feels like they're putting this game in November just to let it almost, like, for the fans that really wanted to play it, they're gonna be there. But I really wonder, is like, are we putting this game in November because we know it's going up against God of War Ragnarok? Are you guys just pretty much gonna let it get obliterated and go under the radar because you just want to push this game out and get it done and over with? You've got money, time invested, and all these assets, and you can either shelve them away in a hard drive somewhere in Ubisoft, or you can just let the game go out and pretty much try to recover some of that money.
That does get me curious. As well, probably a few other panel members have curious thoughts on it. Let's see here. Tim Dog, I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts too. Is this a game that was ever on your radar, or is it just something that you feel like you're going to pass in favor of some other stuff?
Torian detailed this, and we keep mentioning Sea of Thieves and Black Flag. I think what happens is this game is kind of a game that goes into it trying to find its identity, I guess, and that's why it's in the state that it's in. It seems like they started off at being just a strict arcade, blow up the ship, steal your gold, and not much to it. And then it seems like it morphed into something where they said, "Hey, look at Sea of Thieves. We can make this, a lot more, a lot more attractive to like live player gamers. We can get maybe 30 million if we change course." And that's why I feel like the game, and this is completely just my hypothesis or my take on why the game seems so uninspiring, is I kind of feel like it was been in development, hell, as they say, or they just didn't have a real vision. And looking at the game, and seeing what goes on, I saw the reveal and I watched it a couple of times. I still get that feeling like it lacks vision. It feels copycat, cookie cutter, Ubisoft. It didn't excite me at all. And that's pretty hard because, pirates and boats and stuff, you'd think the concept would really, take you in, especially they're trying to do it, I guess, more on a realistic graphic look for Sea of Thieves. But I really feel that a game like Sea of Thieves kind of like is actually hurting this, because I think people want a clone of Sea of Thieves in a different setting or a different graphics engine. And I just don't think that this game is it. Like, you talk about one button animations to board the ship and stuff like that. That's not a good sign. Gamers want freedom. They want the ability to have these crazy scenarios, and I don't know. I kind of feel the same as Centurion. And I was on a different podcast, I think a week ago or whatever. I think it was the first day, and a lot of members were very excited about it. But for me, I'm going to be honest, it just did not. It did not, it did not excite me, and I kind of feel it's going to be run of the mill, probably like a 75 Metacritic, and it's going to be struggling to find a base. And that's why, we mentioned Game Pass and PlayStation. I don't think it would go there day one, but it is something that they might have to look at if they do not hit their numbers. And Ubisoft is kind of in a place where they need a big hit, and I just don't think that this game is going to be it.
Agreed. Moving down the list here, General MLD, buddy. I don't know if this game was on your radar before, or maybe now you want to try it. Like, what's some of your thoughts on this? Do you agree with what Centurion and Tim are saying?
Yes, I agree with what they're saying. Initially, it was on my radar because I beat Black Flag back in the day. I put a lot of hours into Sea of Thieves. Mostly I played solo, but it's still pretty fun solo. But going from that into this, like they said, all these years in development, and you can't even get out of your ship. Like, the Assassin's Creed, the game is based on, you think they got a roadmap of how to program, like, out of ship experiences, but it's all on your ship, and that's not enough for me. Again, if I took a break from Sea of Thieves, but I much rather go back to that than play this. The only real edge this game really has is that graphically it looks pretty good. It looks like a AAA game, but Sea of Thieves is just a beast of a game these days. Like, most of the fun was not only just sailing, but things like like having to manually patch your ship or like raise the sails and fire the cannons, but mostly go on land, like dig for treasure, like get into sword fights, like always having that fear of someone like hijacking your ship or ambushing you on land. Like that was the whole point. It was like the fear of the unknown. But here it's just like you're just playing like Black Flag multiplayer from what it looks like, and that just doesn't do it for me. Like I expected more. Basically, even like there's the event promoting the issue of overfishing. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, social commentary is nice and all, but this is a game based on the golden age of piracy. No one back in that nothing says golden age of piracy than promoting conscious fishing, right? Like no, no. That makes no sense to me. Like if you're gonna make a piracy game, go full into that era. Like don't do 21st century social stuff. Just make it an immersive game set in that time period. I don't know. It's just little things like that too. Like then there's things like the crafting. It just seems lazy to me. I don't know. Just like I'm looking at this, I just it just doesn't feel right to me. Like again, if I would rather play a pirate game, I'm gonna go back to Sea of Thieves like 10 times out of 10. So I'm sure this game will have its audience. I'm no doubt about that. And it's a live service game, so God of War is probably gonna hinder this game's success to a degree. But I think because it's live service, it'll slowly add features. Who knows? It may add like out of ship experiences down the road, and this game may pull like say a Rainbow Six Siege one day, where it actually has a rocky launch, but ends up gaining like a bigger loyal following. This may happen to this game, but for the launch, I would say to steer away until it gets to that point or somewhere close where there's enough content that matches the expectations.
Well,
There's definitely better games out there.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Sea of Thieves didn't exactly have the greatest start either, right? It took them a little while to find their footing with content and whatnot, right? So,
Yes.
I mean, it's not impossible for them to be able to, pull something off here.
Yeah, that's true. But this game has been in development before Sea of Thieves, arguably, like as some of the rumors said. Like almost immediately after Black Flag was this game like, thought of in concept. So I don't know. A lot of people expected more to be available on launch day. And I think they're very right to have those criticisms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fair. One thing I would say, though, I mean, there are co-op partners that you can have. But again, everything that's in Sea of Thieves, I'm just kind of appreciating more in that game now. Because, again, you talk about the crafting, the co-op partners, you can have separate ships with people, but you can't have co-op on a single ship. Like, you can't have your own crew, which, I mean, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's also something. Oh, I know that. That's even worse in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, co-op is you going out in a fleet. You and your buddy have your own ships. The co-op I saw was they had a ship that was basically the navigation ship. It could go faster. It was able to scope out the situation. And that's when his buddy was following him behind in the battleship that was more armored out and had more weaponry on it to help take the fort. So they're trying to make it strategic, and you don't just all bring a battleship to the show.
Yeah, I get that, but it just doesn't feel the same. It feels a little more disconnected. Like whenever, like I did play Sea of Thieves, like sometimes with an actual crew, and it just when it works, there's just nothing like it. Like with that feeling when everyone's working together in harmony with for one ship. Like it's something really magical almost. And yeah, this game just doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing personally striking me. I mean, I could see a new trailer come, and it might blow my mind. So, I mean, I'll still give it a chance, like up until the release date. But as of right now, I don't know. There's nothing really grabbing me that really makes it unique. I mean, again, you can't even, besides the ports that you go to, you don't explore any islands or anything like that. So, to me, a lot of the fun of actually being a pirate just, I don't know, it doesn't seem.
Did you see what basically you're starting the game out as? You're gonna be washed up on shore, and the first thing you need to do is to learn how to hunt to feed yourself. And basically the survival element of the game is real heavy in the beginning. And that's where it's like, yeah, you don't, just because you go into Skull and Bones, You don't get to go on a pirate ship and start just wreaking havoc. You got to like literally put some clothes on your back first.
Mhm.
Oh,
All right.
Huh.
All right.
So there is off-boat stuff in it.
It shows you no, basically, dude. He basically builds a raft and he goes out and starts hunting sharks and alligators with a spear.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's what I saw, at least in the game. When the
Oh.
developer sit down.
from what I
it's
was
like
mm-hmm.
sorry, it's like an unskippable tutorial mission. Like, that might put some people off.
Yeah, from what
They
I'm
want
to
to get
understand,
right into the action.
from what I'm to understand, it's going to be very limited to like the activities you'll be able to do on the land, which again, it's a pirate game and I get that they want to focus on the water. It's just at the same time, you know, you want to explore, you want to go and find some treasure, you want to do kind of traditionally piratey things, and I don't know. To me, I understand that they're going for a darker approach than Sea of Thieves, but I don't know, it just some things aren't hitting with me personally. Um Eric Shockley, buddy, I mean, I'd love to ask you what I've been asking everyone else. Like, what are your thoughts on this game? Is this game on your radar? Are you interested? Or are you agreeing with the commentary of the panel?
Yeah, I mean, I totally even forgot about this game existing. Kind of like what was it, Beyond Good and Evil 2? It was kind of in that
Oh, yeah.
era of E3 trailers. So I thought the game already came out and like came and went. But yeah, from what I'm hearing about it, I don't know who's. It's like that TikTok where that guy's always asking. He's in the store and looking at stuff. And he's like, "Who's an episode of Who's Buying This? Who's buying this?" But hopefully it's cool because I did really enjoy Black Flag. So like the naval part of it was really cool. But again, that was 2013. Now we're almost a decade later. And if it's
Wow.
limited from how everyone else has been describing it, it's, I don't know, just seems kind of dated. But we'll see. Is it like are they, I haven't checked on it, but is it like free to play, or what are they doing?
$70.
Always paid.
$70 for the base game, and there's
Yikes.
premium games that are going to make it more expensive.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
make
you
any
you can
sense.
guarantee that the Ubisoft stores are going, like whatever store that it has is gonna be they're probably
Is
gonna
it
pump it
cross-gen?
full of stuff. I think so, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You guys think it'll be pay to win kind of stuff?
Ooh, that's a great
Mm,
question.
probably.
Sea of Thieves, it's all cosmetic, so everyone's on an even playing field. But now here, I'm not so sure because you can invest in armor types and stuff like that.
Well, we all know that Ubisoft invented the, pay the price tag and get more XP and make your grind work quicker. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was mechanics in there like you could, because we all know that they sell crafting materials already in the Assassin's Creed games, so that way you can craft stuff quicker in the Assassin's Creed games. More than likely, they're going to follow the same suit, and you're going to have crafting materials. There's probably going to be an Far Cry 5 or the Far Cry games have their own in-game currency at this point.
Yeah.
Those microtransactions are going to be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a big Odyssey fan, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Didn't they have stuff like that too, where you could basically pay to skip a lot of the grinding?
Oh yeah, you go in and you pay your, I think it's like $5-10 and you get some magical little token that you carry around with you for the rest of the game, and it gives you more XP and you collect more money as a result of having this token. But also in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I haven't played a lot in Valhalla, but with Odyssey, you had to upgrade your boat to basically have bigger naval battles. And to do that, you had to have crafting materials. And you could either grind your ass off for these crafting materials, which I did, or you could just break out your wallet and start buying crafting materials off the store.
Yeah, no, good point, and I'll be very curious to see what happens. But keep in mind, guys, like yes, you are paying $70. I mean, again, Sea of Thieves, again, it wasn't a free to play game either. However, I mean, I'd argue with Sea of Thieves, though, at least it's been in Game Pass, and it did fulfill the live service role that it has been. Right, they have put out a lot of content for it, which I have to give Rare credit for. They've stuck with the game considerably, and it's done well. I believe it was Microsoft's the best IP last gen, if I'm not mistaken. So
100%. 30 million players now
yeah.
overall that played the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then in the chat, Carlos Alvarado with the 199 super chat. Thank you very much, Carlos. He says Sea of Thieves is just on another level and has set the bar. I mean, Sea of Thieves has its own identity. I'm not saying that I play it all the time, but it's certainly, I don't know, it's just very easy to get into, and it's certainly something special when it comes to being a co-op game. Like you have very memorable experiences in it that you'll remember for a while. Crusader, but again, like I don't know if this game has been on your radar at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I thought conceptually it sounded okay up until they were like, yeah, you're only going to be a boat simulator. When I saw the ship shooting cannons to mine iron ore on the side of a cliffside, that's when my brain checked out. This I think people are being kind to it and saying it's going to have a comeback. I think that this game is not even going to be the next quote unquote Anthem, where at least Anthem was neat. This game feels to me like it's going to fall in the category of games like Babylon's Fall, where like a month after launch, it's going to have like single digit player counts.
You're savage. You're savage, man.
I do not think that this game is going to do well, and I do not think it will ever do well. And I'm sorry to anyone who wants this game to be good, but it does not, in its scope right now, look good. Whoever conceptually said, yeah, let's have Assassin's Creed Black Flag without actually having the actual like unitary pirate, it's the same person who decided to make a Lord of the Rings game where Gollum's the main character, coming out soon. It's just not a good idea. Like, I don't think it's, I'm okay. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like, I don't think this game has a chance.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. At the same time, like I'm seeing a lot of things that don't impress me at all, and in fact, I think the game's regressed, in my opinion, from what it first was announced as. But at the same time, again, we have to wait and see. I don't think it's a good idea to release right beside God of War Ragnarok either, but I'm kind of curious why they chose the November release date, but I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Anybody else have any thoughts on Skull and Bones? All right.
My last final thought, real quick, just to push out there, was they totally have more. Everybody keeps comparing it to Sea of Thieves, but that's for the console market, or at least around the Xbox or somewhat of the PC side. But if we're looking at a heavily PC community, the PC community has New World, and that's where this game really doesn't have much of a chance, considering the competition that already exists that can do what it's doing.
Yeah, no, and you make a good point, but again, time will tell. It's well, what we got, about 4 months until release date, something like that. So I don't know. I hope they can show off something rather impressive. Some really cool gameplay or something. But right now, I think a lot of people would say that there's a lot to be desired from it. In any case. But all right, guys, let's move on over to our second topic tonight. And earlier this week, PlayStation surprised everybody by announcing the Stars loyalty program. You earn credits by completing campaigns and activities. Very, very similar to what Microsoft does with their rewards program. These loyalty points can be then redeemed for PlayStation Store products. Just very interesting seeing this unveiled. Eric, pal, I'll... why don't you start to lead us off on this one? What do you think of PlayStation Stars loyalty program? Do you think they're doing something good here?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been calling for on the PlayStation side. I know they had something in the past where I think you'd earn some things like if you actually like bought stuff in the store. I'm not sure how quickly you really accumulated those points. At least I never really noticed or pay attention to anything. I know they recently switched that to if you have their credit card and not whatever they were doing before. So if you have their like PlayStation credit card for whoever has that, you could still earn points. But this is more. It seems to be more in the line of what Xbox is doing now. I know some people were saying like, "Hey, this is what PlayStation's been doing for 12 years or whatever." But no, not really. Not to the degree of what like Xbox offers. Like you can so quickly just by playing games, even if you're not using their web browser, to earn points just by going to the rewards app on Xbox and just earning points by getting achievements. Or hey, it's giving you 2,000 points here. Just get a couple achievements and come back to this page a couple days during the week, and that's 2,000 points. That's basically $2. So like you easily start accumulating those points pretty quickly. So this kind of looks like in that vein, they're saying you're going to be able to earn those points by doing certain tasks or like trophies, to that you can go and then redeem in the store. I don't know if it'll be as open because I know their store. I'm pretty sure it only lets you purchase like digital content, whereas obviously you can put your points towards controllers, accessories, third-party accessories, consoles through the Xbox store, where you don't have that ability there on the PlayStation. But I also don't. Hopefully they do, but I don't see them doing it, giving away points to the degree how generous Microsoft is with just like, hey, you found 100 points here, or because you'll check your rewards app pretty often. You'll see how quickly, they're just there's a new punch card. Like I think Centurion was just bringing it up a second ago with that sale that's going on. Well, if you spend $40 in that sale, that's 4,000. That's $4 back. And there's quite a bit of games on there. Good high quality games that people probably been waiting for, for a price drop. That are for a good price, so you could easily get a really good deal on a couple games, buy them, for less than half off, and then you're already getting $4 back from that purchase. So I don't think they're going to have things to that degree, but it's cool to you finally are at least getting something back. If you get achievements or trophies, because that's a lot of times the reason why I'll get like third-party games, because I'm like, well, I'm going to want to not only is with the ability for like quick resume, that definitely has me playing on Xbox for like third-party games, but also I know when I'm getting achievements, every time I get an achievement I can redeem for points immediately, or redeem for even bigger points for punch cards that they are weekly punch cards that they have out there. So that a lot of times sways me of like, hey, I'm just going to just buy it here because I have all these other perks. So that's just another thing. So it's definitely great that it's coming to PlayStation gamers. So and hopefully they do it like widespread and it gets big and popular. So then maybe Xbox brings the rewards program to other territories, because there are some regions, I'm not sure which ones, that are locked out of it. I think I'm pretty sure, like I could be wrong, but I think New Zealand or like Australia maybe. I know there's some regions that don't have it, have like the Microsoft Rewards program. So hopefully PlayStation does well with it and makes it popular and it's out in all regions, and maybe that puts more pressure on Microsoft to like even up their ante even more than what. So it's a good competition, for them to offer more quality content, or quality ways to and earn points or earn currency back into their store. So definitely good for PlayStation gamers.
No, that's right. And competition is a great thing. I'm just surprised it took them so long to adapt a program like this, since Microsoft and Xbox have been doing it for a while now. But Crusader, I mean, I would love to know your thoughts on this. I mean, I think it's a pretty good thing that PlayStation is doing this rewards program. Like, I don't know, what do you think about this? Are you interested in earning some loyalty points here?
Oh heck yes. I first I read the article very quickly and didn't realize that it was going to give rewards for purchases. It's only for PS Plus members. You do have to have PS Plus if you want to get
Mhm.
points for purchases. Uh, but it looks great. I love the reward system on Xbox. I have 76,000 something like that points saved up right now on Xbox.
Ooh.
Um, I mean, you just take advantage of the sales. You take advantage of when they have the extra points things on the rewards app, and you just it's a loyalty program that keeps you in the ecosystem. And uh, why has PlayStation not created it sooner? Well, they only really have the one, like they only really have the console market to want to like to need to push a loyalty program onto, whereas Microsoft, it's all Microsoft purchases. It's their
Mhm.
physical store. It's their or it was in their physical stores originally. It was, because all those closed, but it was there. It was in, like, on their website. It's on the Xbox store on PC, on the Xbox store on the console. It incorporates Bing into it. So like
Mhm.
Microsoft has a lot more reasons to want you to do it and a lot more synergies that they can achieve doing it. And PlayStation really didn't need the loyalty program as much because, I mean, they were doing so well last generation, but this generation they have to look at what their competition's doing. They have to ensure they're achieving more loyalty because you need to retain your customers. At the end of the day, they didn't really have to compete to retain customers, and now they do. Um, and I think it's going to be a great system. I'm going to use it, because I do play a bunch of PlayStation games. I have a bunch of PS4, PS5 games. I've used the PlayStation as my exclusive, and now probably Final Fantasy, because who knows when any of those games are actually ever going to come to Xbox. So I mean, there's plenty of things that I'm going to get rewarded for on the PlayStation, and I'm excited for it.
All right. All right. Yeah, some good thoughts there. Tim, buddy, I mean, I know that you were just on the hunt for a PlayStation 5. I think you got one. Um, how do you feel about the rewards program? PlayStation finally catching up here? Well, and Tim
Tim, if you're
is.
there, you're muted.
Oh, did he mute himself?
I don't know. I was just saying if he's there, he's
Oh.
yeah, he is muted.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get back to Tim in a minute. I'll move on to you, MLD. What are your thoughts on the PlayStation Rewards program? It's a little bit of a copy of Microsoft, but I mean, I think it's a good thing, right? Competition and all.
Oh yeah, in that regard, I agree. Like, because overall, if Sony does this, it'll only push Xbox to up their game as well. But overall, though, yeah, of course, I see like the elements of copying. Like, I think Sony hung back a little bit, seeing what the how the competition is doing it. They deem that it's worth doing it themselves, and hey, here you go. Because I think it is proven on some level that these like for example with Xbox the rewards like play this game get like 500 points like it gets people to play games out of their comfort zone or games that they didn't think they were going to play at this time, but the incentive of the points and the rewards and cashing it in, it's making people play more essentially with just a little bit of a push that Xbox is giving them. So I think Sony sees that and they're going to do it themselves now. And overall, though, yeah, the feature parity is just another thing that's just going to keep making this gen's going to be pretty awesome in that regard. Overall, that's the point. Each one's going to compete more for our dollar, and in the end, we all win. We all win in the end. So yeah, overall, it's okay. Good on them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I'm very curious to see what the digital rewards are. They were talking about collectibles, if I'm not mistaken. So, and it's gonna be from like some of their iconic franchises. I can't wait to hear more on that. Hopefully, they give us some more information soon. It's a very interesting concept. Let's see. Moving on down here, Centurion Pal. I mean, obviously, we're just talking about the PlayStation loyalty program here. I know you're a PlayStation owner, and you and your wife play quite a few games. What are your thoughts on this loyalty program?
Um, this is my own opinion. I'm not basing it off of anything other than the experiences I've had in my personal past when it comes to dealing with PlayStation. And I think that this has been almost a long time coming because I'm not trying to like have a hot take or take a dig, but PlayStation has done the worst damn job possible in making people feel comfortable and investing in a digital ecosystem. They've even done that more and more recently. We saw with what's going on in Austria and Germany with movies disappearing. We're taking game discs out of boxes that you're paying $260 for. And they have done a very horrible job of making people want to even invest in that ecosystem digitally. Um, Shockley even basically hit the nail on the head saying, I can buy this game digitally on Xbox and get reward points, money back. Hell, there's even times that they will be like, hey, if you buy this game now, you get 5,000 extra points, $5 back right off the rip. And PlayStation is just now starting to catch up with that, and that's where I feel this has been a long time coming for them. It's about time for them to take their digital ecosystem seriously. They got to realize that more and more people are actually investing digitally. We all see it. Everybody loves to run around with the UK sales charts being like, oh, look, sales are down, sales are down. But we know most of those sales charts are basically based off of physical sales. And that's why Microsoft's physical sales are always pretty low, because Microsoft has done a really good job of making people feel comfortable investing in a digital ecosystem and incentivizing them. And we've seen great successes with Microsoft allowing with Game Pass games actually delivering points for games that you get to play games and get these rewards. I don't want to say that that Sony is copying Microsoft. They're just finally catching up, because doesn't even Nintendo have somewhat of a rewards program? That'd be more like a
Yes.
question for Shockley. Or okay, so yeah, because I've also heard other people, like, it's kind of funny depending on who you listen to in on YouTube and other spaces. Either Sony is catching up to Nintendo or they're catching up to Xbox. Nobody wants to sit there and just flat out be like, well, they're just getting with the times with the rest of their competition. And I am going to be very curious on how this is going to work out for them in the long run, especially with the fact that we're going to have points for purchases locked behind a paywall. We're also going to have objects that sound like NFTs, but according to whoever said all this stuff for Sony, these are not NFTs. They won't be NFTs, but they sound like NFTs. And we all know right now, it's like the best way to say it, NFTs are the kiss of death for anything in the game world right now. So I really hope Sony does not try to go down a road that a lot of people have said don't go down that road. But I'm excited for the competition it's going to bring. It makes the Microsoft Rewards program even more relevant today. And I'm just, for all us gamers, we put a lot of money into gaming, regardless of where you play, what games you play, and how you feel about other people's systems. Gaming is a very expensive hobby, and any money we can get back from this hobby is going to be a good thing for us as consumers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see how everything kind of unfolds as we get more information. I totally blanked on the Nintendo rewards. I was just taking a look through it, and I don't know, they offer some of it's like printable stuff, some of it's physical items, others are a whole bunch of bells for Animal Crossing, or at least a certain version of Animal Crossing, and so on. But I don't know, I'd have to look into
You
it
get
more.
those You get those coins, and I'm pretty sure the coins can give you discounts when you're buying games on the store.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are.
I know they have some kind of coin.
Yeah, if you
Something.
spend well, it's kind of like when Xbox, when you buy games just flat out from the store, you get points. So if you spend $60, you get 600 points. Or no, sorry, you get 300. I believe it's 300 points. I can't remember the currency, but basically you just earn points that you can then accumulate to purchase full games, which I don't know if you can do with PlayStation. Like previous to this, if you just bought games for their stores, I don't know of any coins or points that I was accumulating that I could purchase full on games. But yeah, whenever you buy a game from a digital store, on the Nintendo shop or Nintendo eShop, you'll see that it says you have these coins and you can redeem them at any time. It'll take a certain dollar amount off your purchase.
Interesting. All right. Tim, buddy, you there? Tim's still muted at the moment. Not too sure. Maybe Tim's having a little siesta. But guys, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I mean, I'm curious as a PlayStation. I mean, I'm a part of the PlayStation ecosystem already, so I'll definitely be participating in earning some of these awards, and yeah, I'm curious to see what they do down the line. I can't wait to learn some more information on this. Okay, and guys, if you're watching, hey, remember to share this out, leave a like if you're enjoying the conversation, and sub to the channel if you haven't already, because we would love to see you here more often. Alright, moving over to the last topic tonight. And as of a few days ago, both Netflix and Microsoft announced a partnership to make its ad-supported subscription tier, as Microsoft offers a strong suite of features and protections for Netflix's advertising needs. Hey, you go to Microsoft, and while they're not the biggest player in that space, they're offering some pretty good features. Now, how does this relate to gaming? Well, many are theorizing that this could be the early stages of an acquisition, and could turn Xbox Game Pass into a juggernaut for entertainment. Now, let's see here. General MLD, Bud, I'll go to you first here. I'm curious on your thoughts. We've seen Xbox and Microsoft test the waters with building shows around game IP. I mean, most recently, Halo on Paramount Plus, obviously. Do you believe that this partnership could lead to something here, or are we just letting our imaginations just get carried away on this one?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, at this point, I think there's no wrong answer. This is everyone's just speculating blindly. Everyone just wants to put their 2 cents into it, which is fine. Because to be honest, anything can come out of this in the long term. On the surface, this is just a profitable partnership that Microsoft is doing. Great. Now, my personal take, like if this were ever bleed into the gaming industry, I believe it's one of those things where you want to keep your enemies close, kind of thing. And let me explain that. I did a little, like when I found this out. You dig up some old news. I remember like Sony and Netflix signed a deal last year for their movies on there, or even Netflix. People even speculated at one point that Netflix themselves was going to get into gaming. The way I see it, yeah, this is Microsoft just keeping an eye on them, like keeping them at arm's length, seeing what they're doing, like what their plans are, that kind of thing. And if I really want to speculate, like really, like get out there with the speculation, maybe Xbox Game Pass, like xCloud on Netflix. I don't know, maybe something like that. And that's really me reaching right now. So I see this as a good thing. So like Netflix is obviously like they're a titan in the industry at what they do, and Microsoft, this is a very mutually beneficial partnership, and overall it's good that they're getting to know each other better. So only good things can happen going forward if Microsoft so chooses. So I'm optimistic. We'll see.
Yeah, and again, it's a very interesting partnership here. Again, we could be letting our imaginations get carried out of the way, but I mean, you had a Yahoo finance analyst the other day claim that the partnership could be a hidden long-term goal ending in the buyout of Netflix, which I mean, if any of you guys have been like keeping interest in their stock, for example, it has not been very good over the last 6-7 months. It's been depreciating fast. um let's see, Shock Buddy, I mean, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think this Netflix deal means more, or are we just kind of talking out of our asses here at the moment?
I mean, I think it'd just be more of kind of like a business deal, kind of like where you saw with Sega or PlayStation. Now it could just make things closer to like, hey, if Netflix does take a dip, kind of like you had, Activision. I'm sure, a year or two ago, that wasn't even really kind of much of a thought to purchase them. But if an opportunity presents itself, possibly, um, especially if like I know Sony is starting to want to make a lot of more of their IP into like shows or movies. So that would be, now that Netflix, they might be not doing great of like kind of, keeping their base happy with, what they're charging and um, versus like what they're getting. Plus, they're cracking down on like password sharing pretty harshly. Um,
Yeah.
Whereas, heck, with Game Pass, you can literally, console share or game share, kind of like the way you do it. Uh, or basically you can share Game Pass this same way you do game share. Um, so I mean, stuff like that could, you know, if their stock keeps, dropping or not doing so well, I could see down the line, if the opportunity presents itself. Probably same thing with, like Sega. If there's a partnership there, and kind of like you saw with Bethesda, if there's a relationship there, it makes it easier, um, because you're already acquainted or doing business deals. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sell to somebody, so might as well sell to the highest bidder. And then since they have a relationship with us, Microsoft's like, okay, or feels more comfortable to purchase because they know kind of your inner workings, you know, well before they're even looking at to purchase. So I mean, I could see that in the future, maybe, where they're trying to develop more of their, since they'll have a boatload of IP potentially here pretty soon, if this Activision deal goes through, that are big, marketable, casual, big, popular IP. Now that they'll have Activision, the heck, they could make a Call of Duty, I don't know, Netflix series. Like they could do a lot of different things. That could, you could just think of things like that that could have a big IP name that could just get a casual people to watch. Because a lot of people have Netflix. Plus, then when you tie it in with Game Pass, that's already becoming like basically the biggest game subscription to have, as far as like to actually subscribe to play games for. Um, just tying even more, larger base of subscribers to get them to know, check out Netflix, but also here's integrated, because they're also helping them with that ad space. So here's Game Pass, here's the ad for that. So I could see that kind of blending. So I could see that happening in the future, if the opportunity presents itself. I don't think this is exactly that, but we'll see.
Well, keep in mind, Netflix has been trying to diversify itself, even in the gaming space, in recent years. They did buy Night School Studios, the creator of Oxenfree. They bought Next Games and Boss Fight Entertainment. These are smaller studios, but they they do see themselves expanding into other forms of entertainment. And I just find it interesting that they're going that route. I think they also offer some Android games and some mobile games, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere. They are trying to diversify, and I do think that, um, yeah, I could just see something here. I mean, I'm not saying right now, but after this Activision Blizzard deal closes, which, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I mean, hey, you might see them. I mean, they, like you said, Shockley, they went after Activision Blizzard when their stock fell significantly. I mean, they might be interesting. They might be interested to take the bite here when it comes to Netflix. Especially when you think about the user base on Netflix as well. I mean, I know that they're losing subscribers currently, but I don't know their numbers off by hand, but I mean they got a lot, without a doubt. They got a lot of subscribers. Crusader. I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, obviously, Microsoft, they've had broader entertainment ambitions in the past. What did they have? Xbox Entertainment Studios back in 2012, 2013, with, for example, Quantum Break, right? That was half TV show, half game, and because of their messaging problem back then, they had to do a complete 180 on that and move away from that. But I don't know, I think they've always still had those kind of broader entertainment ambitions. I don't know. Do you see them possibly going after Netflix? Like if this deal kind of is just a starting point.
So yeah, I don't think that this has anything really to do with the gaming sphere at all, so to speak. This is more that Microsoft wants to be in the hands of everything, and I think they're wanting to become more into IP just in general, like all intellectual property. And so like gaming kind of ties into that, but this is more like wanting to morph beyond that. I also think that they want to get into the advertisement business because it's one of the most lucrative computing things, and the best way to do that is to team up with a large company that needs that to start and to prove that you can. They similarly did that with Azure when they got into uh, cl- largely into the cloud. That like one of their big initiatives is to show people how easy it is to switch from AWS to Azure servers. So I think that this is more Microsoft wanting to again diversify its overarching portfolio than really anything to do with gaming. I do think that they would. It also matches their services portfolio excellently because Game Pass is not Microsoft's only service, nor is it really its biggest one. Its biggest service is Office 365 by far. And so we have Office 365, we have Game Pass, and then you'd have Netflix, and they'd all like. I don't think they'd bundle them. I mean, it's just they're all services that they'll have under their wing. But I don't know how easily they could even go through with that acquisition because Netflix is that would be more expensive than the current Activision Blizzard deal they're facing, and it would be a rough just size battle that Microsoft would have in trying to acquire a company of that size. Would it be a monopoly in any way? No, but it could be it could be considered a consumer risk for one company to become that large. We're seeing that problem more and more with just a bunch of companies in general. So I don't know. It is interesting to talk about, though, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, we don't know anything. There's still information coming out about this. It's early, if I'm not mistaken. This won't implement. Well, it's going to take some time for them to implement all this, from what I'm to understand. But it is interesting, anyways, that they would go with Microsoft on this. And
yeah, Microsoft doesn't really have an ad. Like they don't really have that portfolio. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. And this, again, their relationship could deepen because of this. Possibly move Netflix over, or off of. If I'm not mistaken, they use Amazon Web Services. So I mean, maybe Microsoft has, like you were saying, grander ambitions to move them over to their own cloud storage or Azure, possibly. But
Yeah, they do currently use AWS, so that would be interesting. to see if they, because that would be a huge win for Microsoft that like the average person would not care about at all. But that would be a huge get for their cloud services.
For them, yeah, for them it would be pretty
Yeah.
huge. Let's see. Tim Dog, you there? Timmy's still muted. Somebody go poke Timmy and wake him up, all right? Let's see. Centurion, did I get to you? I can't remember, to be honest.
No, but I've also been really chatty tonight, so you're probably like not wanting to have me continue chatting.
No, actually, I would love you to chat, buddy. Please. I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I understand, again, there's a lot of different takes you can have of this, and a lot of this is just speculation on, just general speculation overall. But with this partnership for the ad-supported subscription tiers, I mean, it's interested them choosing Microsoft overall for this, but do you think that there could be some broader implications possibly in, the acquisition sphere and, possibly gaming?
The acquisition thing was interesting when I read the article through the dude from Yahoo and then Jez Gordon's article. We all know that pretty much Netflix has backed themselves into a corner with relying on they spent years and years of existence relying on other companies to supply them content because they were the only one doing what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, this plus, that plus, everybody's got a service now. And systematically, all the driving forces for Netflix has disappeared. Star Trek is going exclusively to Paramount Plus. So anything from the Star Trek universe, Paramount Plus. We all know that the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe is going to eventually become exclusive over to Disney Plus. And they're losing a lot of content. Now, we've saw some recent success obviously in the past with franchises that are original franchises with Netflix, with like Stranger Things and Squid Game. Stranger Things is being the big one, that the big breakout for them, because that thing got a lot of view time. That is the Stranger Things is actually starting to create what they're calling, it's like beyond nostalgia at this point. Everybody wants the 80s to come back because Stranger Things has actually glorified a lot of the stuff that was like the you get it. They're basically wanting the 80s to come back. We could go on a different subject. But that's where there's also other franchises that they have had a lot of success with, and that's The Witcher, a video game based franchise. They're actually starting to explore with Resident Evil, a series now. And so they're starting to really want to kind of have, again, rely on other people. But this time, at least in my opinion, I know we're going to see some ads and stuff, and this is going to be a new venture. This is not only a new venture for Microsoft, but this is also a new venture for Netflix. Like, they're starting to realize they have to put ads on their stuff, otherwise they're running out of revenue. And so I'm really curious on what that's going to look like on Netflix's end, and I'm really curious on how it's going to function with Xbox. But this opens the door for them to, and this is only hypothetical. I've been going back and forth with people like DM all the time. This goes into, we've seen Halo do great with Paramount Plus. Now, like, I can only imagine the deal that was made and how much profit was really, how much profit sharing they had to do with Paramount to do this. But what if by some chance they saw that the success of Halo on Paramount Plus and was like, man, now if only we had ourselves our own streaming platform, we would have made a lot more money and we would have had to have all this profit sharing. And that's where you could go into the realm of a potential acquisition, because Netflix does want a little bit of an exit strategy. They've seen some huge dips in stock prices. They've lost over 200,000 subscribers very recently over the past few months. So definitely it's always good to have an exit strategy, but I don't really foresee Netflix wanting to get out of the game yet, because this partnership with Microsoft could mean we're going to see other franchises be able to become what I've referred to as the silver LCD screen. Like, We've seen Uncharted through Sony end up on the movie theaters. Like Sony is very hyper focused on creating um, pretty much movies of their games. And Microsoft sees that too. Netflix probably tried to do that with Sony, but when you're hyper focused on the big screen, Netflix is the small screen guy. And we all saw that Halo was not pushed into movie theaters. Halo was pushed as a television show, which is right up Netflix's alley. And I really do feel, like, would it be wrong to see the Psychonauts animated series on Netflix? Like, would that be a bad idea? Like, anybody here think I'm crazy on something like that?
I mean, you could
I think
do
it'd be fun.
you could do a lot of things with that. I mean, that would probably be more of an adult-oriented animated series, but then you got the Banjo Kazooies, right? And
Right?
right. So
It's almost like a Pandora's box as a joke, because, like, literally, Netflix could come in and say, hey, why don't we produce and pay for a show based off of this IP, and you guys, get to benefit from the fact that your IP is now going to be all over Netflix, and we're going to benefit from the fact that we're going to have exclusive original content that is going to set Netflix apart. And it does go hand in hand. We saw recently with, again, Stranger Things. They tried to make a Stranger Things video game. I showed it to my wife the other night, and she was completely unimpressed. And that's what led me into wanting to try Dead by Daylight, because there's now rumors floating around that we're going to see Vecna, Eddie, and Robin put into the next iteration of the Stranger Things Dead by Daylight upgrade pack that it could potentially come to Dead by Daylight. It's still rumored right now, and that kind of put it on my radar, and I just wanted to see if Dead by Daylight was a game for me. And that's where everybody wants some of these things that we see on Netflix as a game. But right now, Netflix, their dip into the video game world is a lot of very lackluster, low budget games that are pretty much two-dimensional. And that's where I'm pretty sure Netflix would just love to be, hey, we have this IP called Stranger Things, and we would love to craft at least a double A, maybe, I don't want to say triple A on it, but at least a much better experience than we've already created. And you guys have the game studios for that. And I really do feel that there could be a very mutual partnership between these two companies without Microsoft having to flat out buy Netflix.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, they do have, I mean, probably out of all the studios that they have, out of the three, Night School Studio is probably the biggest name studio they have. They did Oxenfree and After Party. I don't know if you remember that one. That came out a couple of years ago.
No, I remember After Party. I remember that one, but that's where, those games are great. Don't get me wrong, very beautiful games, but I do know that it is what it is. You want to always keep yourself growing, and I would love to play a Stranger Things game, and I don't want it to be on the scale of what we've already seen come from that universe as a video game. I want to be able to see great character models, have world exploration, be able to go to the Upside Down and our world, and just completely immerse yourself into an experience with a pretty much a television show that is absolutely awesome. And I really do feel that I don't really see this as just a partnership for Microsoft to have commercials on Netflix. I really do think this is going to lead to something bigger. I don't want to throw the word that they're going to buy Netflix as soon as Activision is gone through, but I do want to say that it definitely goes with what Microsoft tried to do at the beginning of this generation with having Microsoft Entertainment Studios, as you called them, and the idea of them wanting to have more television and gaming as part of their portfolio. And they realized they went about that completely wrong. The messaging was completely wrong. And now they could slowly but surely use Netflix to get some of these franchises onto different platforms as basically a different way of consuming entertainment without having to put a controller in someone's hand. And this is going to probably also benefit Netflix. Like we're gonna probably see some new franchises pop up on Netflix, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, possibly. Um, Again, nothing's set in stone. We're just speculating, everyone.
Oh yeah,
But
it's total speculation, but it's fun to think about. And it's a changing world. Pretty much video games used to be very passe. Like, oh my god, you play video games when you live in your mom's basement. Are you a child? But now we're starting to see video games are a big fundamental part of the entertainment world. It always was music and movies and television, music, movies, and television, and now we're starting to see that interjected with music, video games, and movies, and it's all a cohesive thing, and everybody loves to consume entertainment. Either you're watching it, playing it, listening to it. Entertainment is a fundamental part of our world, and these companies are picking up on this.
mm-hmm. Fastback in the chat. Hey, Fastback, how you doing, pal? He says Netflix would be a great addition for Microsoft Xbox to have their own IP. Sony does it, Amazon, Apple. I mean, I suppose he does have a point there, and these big companies are leveraging certain aspects. I mean, Apple has its own entertainment service. Not that they do much in the gaming space, but I suppose for their apps. Amazon too. They've been trying to get into the gaming space, but they certainly do leverage Prime a whole lot. And Sony, Sony doing some stuff as well. But as Fastback also alluded to, Netflix could also be part of Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah, that could definitely be another. You could make another tier for that, in all honesty. But we'll have to wait and see, guys. I do think in the grander scheme of things that this could be interesting, and I do think that there are some connections here in the long run that could lead to something here. Let's see, Tim, you there? Timmy's silent. Not sure where he went. Centurion, go over to Tim and poke him, please. Give him a little nudge, all right?
Yep, I'm getting my car right now. I'm driving to his house right now, all the way from Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see who's closer. Crusader, Crusader, you give him a nudge then.
He's deep
Man,
in
that's a
thought.
drive.
Maybe
For me, I'd have to pack a couple meals, a sleeping bag.
Hey, the wife won't notice, right?
Oh no, she won't notice. It'd be like I went to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd go nudge him myself, but me and MLD here would have to take turns driving. It'd take a little while.
You guys would also have a security checkpoint as well.
Oh yeah, the border.
Possibly.
Good old border.
Yeah, and they'll take me and MLD. They'll be like, "Come here, strip search, please." No, we're not drug mules. I swear.
We'll take your car.
Oh, well. Hey, man, if we take my car, we'd be even more suspect. But yeah, again, it's interesting, this whole Netflix thing. But by the way, guys, did you see Bungie? It looks like the deal closed with Sony. They're officially a part of PlayStation Game Studios, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's weird. Like they said that there was going to be scrutinization and investigations, but that seemed to be just fine for them. And by contrast, you look at the Activision Blizzard thing, that's also moving along very nicely. So I think it bodes well for all parties right now with these big acquisitions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a lot sooner than what I thought personally, because they announced Bungie like a week after the Activision deal with Microsoft, and I don't know, how many months was that? What, February, March, April, May, June.
About six.
About
It's about the
6.
same length as Bethesda,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense considering they're about half the financially they were about half the size of Bethesda, little less than half.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Activision's such a
Well, it's
it's magnitudes larger, like 20 magnitudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. See how long that deal lasts. When do you guys think it's gonna like? I can't see it being like a lot.
December.
You think December? Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Part of me is hopeful now. It's going to be November, December. Like it's things moving faster than I think any of us could have ever predicted. It feels like Microsoft, they've been on top of every single step, like the whole way. Like they're 2 steps ahead of every request that is being asked of them. So I mean, it could be as early as November. Like it's actually seems possible now. It's no longer a reach to claim that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I do find it interesting, though. I mean, we haven't brought it up actually, but what, a week or two ago, Blizzard acquired a studio. What was it? Proletariat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they made Spellbreak.
Oh yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
did talk about it. You said that yeah, they were the Warcraft support studio now, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, even better for us.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just curious, though. I mean, because with the again Microsoft acquiring them, I'm just kind of curious how that works. That deal just kind of came out of nowhere. Do you think Microsoft would have had to greenlight that too?
No.
No.
Legally, they can't, but overall, though, I assume they would want World of Warcraft to regain some of its lost player count to say Final Fantasy 14, right? So I feel like it is what they would want anyway in the long term to make it relevant, more relevant again.
Yeah, the only way they'd have to quote greenlight it is if it affected the actual, if they expected it to affect the share prices. So as long as Blizzard's saying it doesn't affect the actual share prices, or Activision Blizzard saying it won't affect the share prices on Microsoft's side for the purchase, then it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be honest, I had never heard of the studio before. It's a bit of a smaller one, and I think I've heard of Spellbreak, but I'll admit I've never played it. I'm assuming it's an RPG, right?
It was a like spell crafting
Battle Royale.
uh battle royale.
Yeah, yeah. It never took off. That's why.
Okay. But it has ex Blizzard devs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
believe it was founded by ex-Blizzard devs.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, it was just an interesting addition. So, but yeah, no, that'd be good for Warcraft getting some support there. Yeah, I'm curious when this Activision Blizzard deal is gonna close. We should get a little bet going on here, guys. You guys are saying November, December. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised too if it closed around that time. The sooner the better, and just in time for next year's E3. We get some all the Activision and Blizzard games officially in Game Pass. So.
I don't think it goes beyond March. Like that's my like it doesn't go beyond this time kind of thing. I think December though of this year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think also it would really go a long way to bolster like 2022 for Xbox because if like what Forza, Redfall, Starfield, I think they were all maybe initially planned for this year, but delays happen and they got pushed back into next year. Like this will go a long way to really elevating the brand. Like say the entire backlog being added onto Game Pass, that would be a huge win in of itself. And even like even though it's multi-platform, technically Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 it would be a Xbox first party title. Despite, being multi-platform, it would certainly be like a boon for Xbox as well. So they could definitely use it this year, I'd say.
Mhm. Do you guys think they'd have a like what they did with the ZeniMax studios, the Bethesda studios? Do you think they'd have one of those roundtables like with some of the Activision Blizzard teams, like they did with them?
Yes, I
Yeah.
I think they will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do want to just caution people. The next Call of Duty may not hit Game Pass day one.
What, the
Um,
2024 one?
the 2024 one, yeah.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
there's marketing for it with PlayStation. Though it depends on the marketing agreement. We don't I don't know the words of the agreement, but there is a chance that it may not because they have co-marketing, um, it may not be able to drop on day one.
Oh, we'll see. Contracts are made to be changed. I don't know. Well, if it would feel weird for that to be the case, you know, because like
sure, it also feels weird that they're buying an 80
yeah,
they're making this big of a purchase. Like
I know. Like I'm thinking of say Outer Worlds. Like they were not the publisher of Outer Worlds, right?
no,
Yet,
they own
that
that
was also
IP
day
though,
one
so
on Game Pass.
they can act as a pseudo publisher. They also
Right.
had marketing for it.
Right.
So like that's a little different than because like for example, you can look at what are they? The ZeniMax games this year that launched onto that were timed exclusives. They're on PC, but they're not on PC Game Pass.
I see. Yeah.
It's not a guarantee that just because they own it, they can do anything with it, and they have to abide by some of the old things that are in the agreements from before they owned them, or else it can be counted as damaging other people's companies through purchases. Because Sony likely paid a lot of money to Activision Blizzard for the those multi-year, multi-game advertising deals. So they can't just change that, or it could be viewed as like this acquisition was made to damage the competition.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of which, do you think we'll hear about Deathloop soon as well? Coming to,
yes.
I mean, that has to be it was probably a year.
Yeah, it was a 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
I wonder if they can talk about it before the year contract is up, or it's like the first day after. Like, well, when did the game release on PlayStation 5 last year?
It's usually 10 months.
Right.
It was
okay.
like September, if I'm not mistaken, middle of September. So
yeah, so it's got to be soon, like sometime soon.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we heard something about it August, but we shall see on that matter. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and of course, like I've been waiting to play that on Xbox consoles, Deathloop, and of course Ghostwire Tokyo as well. I'm really interested in trying that out. Because I'm a big fan of Tango games, but Deathloop looks pretty cool too. Okay, guys, I think on that note, we will wrap things up for tonight's show. And look, I thought we had a really good chat tonight. And to summarize, we went over Ubisoft's Skull and Bones, I guess the first part of their Ubisoft Forward show. The next show, I think, is in September. PlayStation's new loyalty rewards program, and Microsoft and Netflix's new partnership. Will it affect gaming down the line? Well, we'll find out, hopefully soon. If you enjoyed listening to us tonight, then please consider leaving a like, sharing the show out, and subbing to the channel, as, just to stay up to date on all things TXR. Now, with that said, why don't we go over to the show outros, starting off with Centurion. Buddy, I thought you had, again, some really good commentary, as you usually do. Where can all these fine folks find you at?
Well, gentlemen, again, thank you for having a great conversation tonight. Yes, the topics were absolutely awesome. Always fun to chat gaming with you guys, interact with people in the chat. Thank you to everybody out in the chat being here. As always, be sure to send a sub and a like here for the show. Invader is a hardworking guy. Let's support him. Also, for those interested in wanting to find me, you can find me at Centurion1307 on YouTube, Xbox Live, and of course, Twitter. And you can also find me here every Saturday night right here on TXR. And you can also find me on Gaming Beyond the Box. I know we should be starting that up here real quick in the next few weeks, every Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You and Wilmy and the rest of the crew, always a great chat on Gaming Beyond the Box. So looking forward to that starting back up again. Let's see down the list here. Crusader buddy, hey, great chat tonight. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Crusader3456 on basically every platform. It was a very, very good talk tonight. Lots of good discussions. Yeah, you can see my bad takes everywhere.
Hey, we all got bad takes. So don't worry. All of our bad takes are all across YouTube, not just you, man. But no, always great to have a discussion with you, Crusader. You're a great mind to pick on all gaming matters. All right, moving on down the list here. Eric Shockley, buddy. Again, hey, good chat, some solid points. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at ShockNero on Twitter, Easy Shock on Xbox Live. But yeah, about to see how much of a train wreck this Resident Evil show is that everybody's been talking about.
Oh,
boy.
man.
Oh yeah.
Just because I've been seeing like critics say like, oh, it's like a 9 out of 10 or whatever, and then I've seen some people just say it's the worst. It's like the worst out of all the Resident Evil adaptations. So I'm just like, I wonder where I fall.
if that's a 9 out of 10, oh, I don't know, man. Like I've seen some clips and like I haven't watched it all the way through, but those clips, it's I don't know. It makes me very
just because
wary.
of horrible acting, or is it because of them not sticking with the lore?
Well, I guess it's set 14 years like after, and they said everything that happened, like even Village, is in their, because it's set in like 2036. So they're saying like all of that happened. So if you think 2021 Village, so they're saying all of that's happened. So this is like 14 years in the future. So that way, I guess they can take more liberties because it's like they're not adapting an already told story.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, the way they can just offhand say things that happened like all those years ago, and we're like, oh, hey, well, I know about that. I played that in the game. Like, no, that's not enough. Like, that's just
yeah,
that's not how you do it.
I kind of like that adaptation in the sense like the first Resident Evil movie, like that one I liked. But then because I was like, cool, they're just gonna do their own thing. But when they came with all of the other movies after it, and they're like, nope, we're just gonna throw Jill in here just for whatever reason, and just nothing made sense. And I was like, now it's trash. You had something and it wasn't like amazing, but it was decent. But now when you're just throwing in Jill's just here, but no backstory, she wasn't at the mansion, like, just randomness. So that kind of stuff is that's where people get really pissed off, especially with that last movie that just came out. People were just like, you totally butchered Leon. But at least I guess they can try to do something here. We'll see. It could still be crap.
Stick to the CG movies. So those ones are actually good.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Well,
the most part.
One thing I did like about at least the first couple of Resident Evil movies is that they were shot in our area, MLD. Well, I guess more my area, but it just there were some points where I'm like, oh, that graveyard, oh, I know where that is. That's right by me. Or when she's going down like Nathan Phillips Square or something, it's like, oh yeah, I know that too. So there's a few different things that I could point out in the movie that I'm like, oh, okay, there's some local stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
They lost me in that second movie when Mike Epps says GTA motherfucker and runs over the zombie. I'm like, okay, this is too cringe.
No, and I agree. There is some cringe stuff. I'm not disagreeing, but I was just like, oh, I could point out some stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right by that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of MLD, buddy, on to you next. Really good points tonight. You're a great mind to pick on all these gaming matters. Where can everybody follow you at?
Thank you. You guys can follow me at MLD Ghost on Twitter. Gamer tag is Ghost MLD. Catch me playing this and that, and looking forward to the next week's chat with you guys.
Agreed. Now let's see. Is Tim awake yet? Tim, you there, pal? Guess not.
Sleeping.
Yeah, it's possible he could have fallen asleep. I don't know. Everybody after the shows ended, please send send Timmy a little nudge. That'd be a good idea. Give him a little message on Twitter. But yeah, guys, to round out the group, you can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Also, you can interact with me on Twitter at Invader_1986. Well, we got to get out of here, but again, we cannot wait to talk to you about all things Xbox and other gaming related news on the next one. See you later, fellas. It's been great.